everyone from the other side of the screen. Thanks for joining my session. Today I will talk about how we manage a bilingual open source community, and I call it Dancing in Shackles. And now we are moving towards a multilingual open source community, and we are planning to add Japanese as the next coming language. So the agenda for today includes three sections. Number one is some background information about Pincap, the company where I'm from, and about me, and about the TiDB community. And also the next topic would be the three pillars of the TiDB ecosystem. And the last one, but not least one, is how we're dancing in shackles. So about Pincap, Pincap is basically founded in Beijing in April 2015, and it provides enterprise-level services and technology for TiDB. And as you can see from the stats on the screen, that TiDB is a pretty popular database open source project, and it has 24.2 key stars on GitHub, and it's only about 5 years old. So we, on top of that, we have more than 440 contributors in the TiDB repo on GitHub only. And also for TiDB, which is now a cloud native computing foundation project, it's open sourced in April 1st in 2016. It now has 7.6 stars. TiDB was originally created also by Pincap, and it's donated to CNCF in 2018, and is now going through the voting process for graduation. And the last one I want to highlight that's also from Pincap is the Kiosk Mesh project. It's Kiosk Mesh project is kiosk engineering is a kiosk engineering platform that's are to be the de facto standard of kiosk engineering on the cloud. It's open source on the last day of 2019, and it has 1.9 key stars. Sorry, I might have made a typo on the number of contributors, but we can check that later on the GitHub pages. So that's about Pincap. And about myself, I am the head of internationalization, which is short for I-18 at Pincap. And I'm also employee number 17 at Pincap. So I'm also a CNCF ambassador. And previously, I worked at IBM and Symantec as technical writer. So moving on to the introduction of the TiDB community and ecosystem. So for this diagram here, you can see three pillars, and we believe the three pillars, which are people, communication, and governance, are essentially what makes of the TiDB community, and we can count on these three pillars to build and run this ecosystem and community. Okay, again, for the people, it contains not only the developers who contribute code to the projects, but also the end users who are constantly adopting the project, giving us feedback by filing issues and bugs, etc., to tell us whether the project is moving on towards the right direction. And that's the most important asset in the ecosystem community, which are people. And the next one is about communication. Communication has a rather broad scope in my definition, because we consider code is also part of the communication. because I will elaborate more on that. But essentially, these are code, content, and channel are how we communicate ourselves with the community and the ecosystem to interact and engage with each other in the community. And on top of people and the communication, to actually run the community, we need some governance in place that includes the code of conduct and these are some ground rules, and also the community structure, which will put everyone in a place where they can learn and grow. And also, there are all kinds of interesting events going on in the community to constantly attract people and involve in the larger community. And we have designed an owner system in place so that they can actually see the growth, see their growth path, and enjoy their growth. So, speaking of the people, as I mentioned, we are not. It includes not only developers but also users, and we believe the TiDB ecosystem is not only made by developers and for developers, but also by end users and for the end users. So these are some numbers that are coming from the entire TiDB ecosystem. We can see that we have more than 1,000 contributors and 3 maintainers and committers and reviewers, etc. Also, we have different active, have a lot of active contributors. These are all defined in the community structure, which I will go to which I will cover in the next slide. And you can also see on the bottom left, you can see the growth of the numbers, where we coming from early 2016 to now, it has to more than 1,000 contributors. And where does these contributors come from? So they come from the entire community. Some of them are individual contributors, but many of them comes from the organizations and companies that are currently adopting TiDB in their production system. So when I say TiDB, it is essentially about the TiDB and TiDB and KioSmash and this entire ecosystem. And besides TiDB and KioSmash, Pincap has a lot of other open source projects as well. So moving on to the governance. For the governance, as I mentioned earlier, that we have different roles. We have contributors, we have maintainers, committers, reviewers, active contributors. These are the different roles we have defined in this community structure. And for a bigger picture of the community organization, you can see that we have a PMC, we have a developer group, and user group, and organizer committee. So the roles I mentioned earlier are all belonging to the developer group. For PMC, it means that it is the core management team that oversees the entire community. And for developer group, which has a lot of different roles and responsibilities, they are essentially the TiDB developers. And also we have user group. It's users and from big companies or the adopters of TiDB. It's a non-profit third party that will organize on a regular basis to so that users can talk to users, exchange their ideas, and sometimes complaints about the entire project. They are all welcome, and all kind of feedback are welcome. And also we have organizer committee, which is the committee where the organizers in charge of these different events and activity operations. So I really want to dive deep into a little further into the developer group and the user group. So basically now you can see that we have a user group with different roles, and to help the developer in the community grow, we also have different SIGs. By SIG, I mean it's a special interest group. So for this special interest groups, is organized. So basically, the TiDB community is organized primarily by SIGs. Each SIG is comprised of members from multiple companies and organizations. They have a common purpose to advance the project with respect to specific topics and subject. So, the goal is to enable a distributed decision structure and code ownership, as well as providing, the focus forums to get the work done and making decisions and onboarding new contributors. And we also now have 21 working groups. Working groups provide a formal avenue for disparate special groups to collaborate around a common problem. A working group represents the interest of the group and to build a consensus. This is a little more about the developer group. And also we have a TiDB community organization, the user group in this organization. These are groups, as I mentioned earlier, where the users get together to elect leader and co-leader and ambassador, and have regular meetings and conference, or sometimes conferences, and to collect feedback and exchange experiences using the project. So these are the community structure where we we can run the community and give oversight over this entire community. So when we talk about governance, as you can see that we also have different events and honor systems. So we have hackathon annually in October, and also we have the usability challenge programs and also performance challenge programs, etc., which are it runs for several months and have a different board for those who have participated, and all the credits system to get to challenge those participants. It's very interesting. And also we have provided some database learning programs so that new contributors to the community can get some hands-on learning experience and practicing experience. Also, we have TiDB DevRelCon, which is a conference only for the developers, and we believe in open source, and we want more people to join these events as long as they are interested in it. And one of the events that I really want to highlight is the talent plan. So these talent plan courses are categorized into different subjects. You can learn programming language. You can see we have we also designed the different learning path. For learning path 1, we will walk through the contributors or those who are part of the talent plan program toward a goal, and then when they complete the learning path 1 to 3, they can get some hands-on experience, by trying the practical network applications in Rust and etc. So this is basically some programming language courses. And also there are some infrastructure systems such as TinySQL, Tiny Key Value, etc. And also we have one more course is deep dive into TiDB ecosystem in place so that we can know better about the ecosystem and community that we are on. And when they complete these courses, they are invited to attend the talent challenge program and get a badge if they can if they can participate, and also different programs and bounty bug bounty programs are in place for them to challenge themselves and practice what they have learned in the talent plan. The talent plan is really popular in the developer community, especially for those who are interested in distributed systems. And when we have covered people, which includes developers and end users, we also covered the governance, which includes different events and programs and all kinds of owner system that we have designed in place. But to bring them all together, the most important thing is communication. And communication is where the shackles are in. So I mentioned earlier that we categorize communication with a broader scope, where we believe code is also part of the communication, because we believe code is a way of conveying yourself in certain type and get yourself understood by others. So you can code in different programming languages such as Go or Rust, which are the two languages we primarily adopt. And you can get involved in the Golang community and the Rust community, etc. But you have to follow the coding style and the contribution guide we have in place so that you can get better understanding of what's going on, and so other people can also get some understanding of what's going on as well. And in code, many of the developers have some comments that people don't understand, and to bring that together, make your code much easier to understand, we have some code comment style, which is in English in place. And this is where you can code in a way that other people can better understand you. And on top of the code, the next very important factor that will determine whether the communication is effective is how your content is structured. So we have RFC, which is essentially the design documents where for the features, for the major features and functions of the project. And also we have different technical blogs that come from the developers, and so they are essentially contributors and the other roles that we have defined in the developer group. And these are the technical blogs, and they are really describe how a feature came into life. So for end users, the end user documentation is also created, but it's essentially created by the people, by my team and other engineers from Pincap, because we would like to create the documentation that's easy to use, easy to find, and easy to understand, so that we can easily onboard them to try out the product and the project to help them with their work. And also, we would like to see content from the contributors and end users as well. They can share their story with other contributors and end users, so that they can know better of what's going on and how to how to avoid the pitfalls that could damage their data, etc. So these are essentially the user-generated content. But as I mentioned, the shackles are also in communication, because for those contributor-generated content, they're sometimes just in one language, and we need to move forward to make it more user-friendly and reader-friendly to other languages as well. So I will cover that in the next slide. And the third factor that is also very important is the channel where these people can talk with each other, where this 1,000 contributor can have a place to exchange their ideas and provide feedback to Pincap and to other people as well, just to engage in the community. So we have Slack channel, which is the TiDB Slack channel, and we have different private channels and public channels, and for those SIGs and for those special interest groups and working groups where they can discuss all those projects together and working to advance the project. And we also have social media. We have for TiDB, we currently don't have a specific Twitter handle for it, but it's under the Pincap handle, and we're thinking about creating a separate handle for TiDB as well. But for TiDB and KioSmash, they also have their own Twitter handle. So every time when a contributor make a contribution to KioSmash or TiDB, he or she will get a call out in the Twitter handle. So okay. So for Hacker News and Reddit, now these are the platform where we syndicate the content. So when we have some exciting technical blogs or announcement, or some very technical content that we believe that will be interesting to the hacker community, we post it to Hacker News. And more often, I think we got in the past 3 months, we got in the past 6 months, we got about four stories that are highlighted on Hacker News front page. So it has given us a lot of traffic to our website. And also for local community and forum. For local community and forum, this is, as I mentioned, where also the shackle is. Sometimes people from different regions, they prefer different social media platform, such as for the contributors and users from China, they use WeChat a lot, and they also use Quora in China, which is called Zhihu. But for the other side for other regions in the world, they would prefer to use Twitter. And I know in Japan, you also have TiDB to share knowledge and blogs. So these are the channels we need to focus on. If you want to build a global open source project, the local experience matters a lot. So this is where, when I talk about the shackles, so these are the three questions I ask myself a lot. Number one, where does the content come from? So we have a lot of events. Our project is moving very fast. So the events we will have a lot of contributors and users, and also Pincap employees to talk on the events, and this is where we can get a lot of content. And also the project itself evolves very fast. We can have different topics on the new features and this technical decision-making processes, etc. And also we have different programming languages, such as Rust. We are very active in the Rust community, and we will write blogs about, what's our thoughts regarding the programming languages and the upstream and downstream ecosystem where TiDB is a database, and it has to be part in the bigger community and the ecosystem to work with the upstream and downstream. Such as, for example, the local engine of TiDB is RocksDB, so we need to engage with the RocksDB program, the RocksDB community. And the next one is about the language and cultural differences. As I mentioned earlier, some of the user-generated content, UGC, are in Chinese, and it's original and authentic, but it's not English audience-friendly. And the next slide will cover how we manage to make the content English audience-friendly, and there's a tricky word there. So there are also some cultural differences which we need to update the terminology regularly, such as the recent updates on the whitelist and blacklist and master slave, etc. So all those are the cultural differences we need to keep sharp eyes and stay updated. So not to mention the technical and non-technical differences. Sometimes we need to analyze the audience pretty carefully, because if we are not careful, we would fall into the subject matter that too deep that the ordinary audience would not understand. But that's also very subjective, because even if we want to give the mass media non-technical subject, it is very difficult to grasp the essence and how we can make it easier to understand and accept it. So the dancing part is where we make where we can attract more and more people. So for I have mentioned a lot of events that are going on in the TiDB community, but to make some of those events applicable to the global audience, we need to do some local experiments first. So we essentially we put on some programs, such as the first challenge program in a local community first, and see how the local community reacts to the organization, the effects of the events, and then we will expand it to the global scope. For example, the usability challenge program. And the dancing for another part of the dancing, I would like to cite as the life cycle of the user story. So basically, for the UGC in Chinese, we would say take a user story in the source language. We will select to promote abroad and see that these content are really solid. It has all the details that the global audience would like to absorb and see how we can help them. So we would get permission from the user who have shared that story, and then we would put some efforts into it and transcreate the piece into English. And we will go through different review periods, such as technical review and editorial review, and also some PR department review and from the user's organization. And then we will we'll make it public on the target media and other channels. and then syndicate to other media as well. So basically, the creation process is all about taking one concept presented in one language and completely adapting it and recreating it in accordance with the nuances and cultural ideas that need to be founded in the target language. I put a link here so that you can know more about what transcreation means. And just to end my topic with one more example. So we launched a program last year, which is completely community driven. So it's to write a book about TiDB in 48 hours. And it has attracted 102 authors and 421 commits and almost 200 pull requests in the repo. So we are trying to make a plan to make it to launch the program into the global community as well. And I'm open for ideas which can help us do that. And so that's all for my topic. And thank you.
Hi, Queeny. Thank you very much. Thank you for your great session. And we'd like to move to Q&A for your session. I think that we can have a couple of questions for you. To Daisen-san, could you please pick up some questions from the slide 2?
Okay. Should I share my screen or just to read?
Yeah. Okay. To just read the question.
Okay. So we have a couple of questions. First one is, which pillar do you think the most important to be architected in order to succeed on open source community? Oh, I think you're muted.
Sorry. I think the people is the most important pillar that will hold up the entire community, because all the communication between and among those people and all the governance is how we and the organizer of the community would just to help people in this community work with each other, and essentially the people matters the most in the 3 pillars. So without people, nothing else will be there. So thanks for the question. That's a good one.
I agree. People is the most important one. The next question is related to people. So in OSS project, is there anything you are doing to increase the number of the contributors?
Yes, there are a lot of events. I should say there are a lot of events to bring people together so that we can have, we can be part of the larger community and to interact with other people. And also we are doing, content transcreation, so that people can understand what's going on in the community. And we have channels in place so that people can actually have a place to talk with each other. So all these, the 2 pillars are to enable and empower the people in the community so that they can have a sense of belonging.
Let's see. By the way, how many often do you have the event per month or per quarterly? Or
it's not that regular. It's we have 3 annual events. So basically, it's 3 events a year for now. But we are planning to initiate more from Pincap side. But as I mentioned earlier, we have user conferences, we have user groups. They have different kinds of user activities and events organized by themselves on a we didn't track how often they have conferences or events, but they have regular events in their regional in their region as well.
I see. I got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we can have one more question.
Okay. Let me choose one of them. So the question is how to control the conversation with the users and the developers. The developers want to make something new, but the users want stability or nothing change. Yeah, it's typical question, every time.
It's a very good question. Thank you. And so, as I mentioned earlier, these requirements coming from the users matter a great deal to us as well. And that's why we have different special interest groups. So, and working group as well. So for those stability related issues and requests, we would like to form a working group so that we can have longer time and we can work across the different special interest groups to work on a certain specific stability issues. And for those new features and new requests, we also have different sticks. So they can pick something new from the contributors and developers. They can pick something new from there, and they can, prioritize and just discuss all those exciting things with their SIG leaders. So that I think this can balance it a little, but it will not solve the problem once and for all, because this is something that's really difficult to solve.